My name is Courtney Owens, and this is my video discussion board assignment. For number 1, fitness describes how well a particular genotype is at producing offspring for the next generation compared to the number of offspring produced by parents of another genotype. The fittest individuals aren't necessarily the fastest, strongest, or biggest. A genotype's fitness includes its ability to survive, find a mate, produce offspring, and ultimately pass on its genes to the next generation. This definition of fitness applied to crickets. Whether the cricket is a caller or a sneaker, its fitness depends on its ability to avoid prey and reproduce by whatever means necessary. For number 2, calling benefits crickets because it helps to attract mates to reproduce. It's an obvious benefit to the calling males who actually attract mates and are able to reproduce. It also benefits the sneaky crickets who are able to intercept the females searching for the calling males. It can also be a detriment because of the attention it attracts from prey. Even though calling has these risks, it's a necessity because it is unlikely that the cricket species would survive without it. Number 3. A first example of selection at work is the fact that the female cricket was attracted by the call. Even though the calling cricket didn't end up reproducing, it demonstrates the fact that the calling is what attracted the attention of the female in the first place. If no calling crickets were ever able to reproduce, crickets would be unable to survive because males and females would be unable to find each other to reproduce. A second example is that the calling cricket was eaten by a bat. Even though his song attracted a mate, he was unable to escape the prey that was also attracted by his song. This deficiency, whether it was in strength, speed, etc., wouldn't have fared well for his offspring had it been passed on, and therefore he was unable to reproduce. A third example is that the sneaky cricket was able to intercept the female and produce offspring. Even though the sneaky cricket may not have been the most attractive, he was able to use his intelligence and sneakiness to figure out that he could intercept the female searching for the calling male. Number 4. I believe that the natural selection occurring is stabilizing selection. I initially believed that it was directional in favor of the calling cricket. This is because if only the sneaky crickets were able to reproduce, none of the offspring would be calling crickets, and eventually males and females would be unable to find each other. However, if calling crickets were unable to be sneaky, then they would all most likely be eaten by the prey that they attracted with their calling before they were able to reproduce. Therefore, a cricket must have some ability to be both sneaky and be able to attract a mate by calling. Number 5. Because crickets chirp more often if it's hotter, I believe the temperature is one way that the environment is influencing cricket calling. Also, the comic strip is set at night, and I would assume that this is when most of the cricket chirping takes place in order to provide somewhat of a better defense against prey.